Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our TEPSA Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Todd Neslony, the Director of Culture and Strategic Leadership here at the Texas Elementary Principals and Supervisors Association. We are thrilled every week to bring you different thought leaders from around the world, and this week we have none other than the Appreciation Queen herself, Miss Kathleen Eckert. Kathleen, thank you so much for being on here. Kind of tell everybody a little bit about who you are.
Thank you so much for having me. Currently, I am a high school principal in Keller ISD. This is my 11th year as a principal. I've worked various roles throughout my career. And the last 2 years, I did stints helping elementary principals and elementary assistant principals when people were out. So I've worked all the way from littles to being a middle school principal and now high school principal. So I've kind of run the gamut.
I love it. You bring a lot of different background and experiences, I'm sure, to this kind of topic. Well, today we are talking about something that I know you are really passionate about, and that's making others feel appreciated. Because all of us in this leadership role know that if you want to keep people coming to work and you want to keep them working hard and you want them to feel valued, they have to feel appreciated. And so obviously at some point during your career, this became something that was really personal and important to you, for you to just really pursue talking about this, writing a book about it, all these things. Talk to me a little about your journey into that, really identifying the importance of appreciation.
I'd have to say my light bulb moment for me was when I was a varsity softball coach. Every Monday I would start out on my field, and I was a softball coach in Fort Worth ISD. So we had lots of tagging of the softball field. And so every Monday I would start outside talking to the painters from the district as they were out there kind of cleaning up my field. Or when the plumbers came out to do stuff, I would go sit and actually have conversations with them and ask them about their families, ask them how things are going with them. And I would give them softball gear, shirts, and different things like that. And I just really started getting to know my support crew or my support staff to help make my program what it was. And it really kind of went off for me when the baseball coach, who our fields were side by side, had a tournament coming up, and he had a sprinkler head that was leaking. It's been leaking for about 6 weeks. And he had done a work order for it, and they hadn't come out to fix it. And he had this big tournament he's hosting. He's like, Eckert, will you help me? Will you call your guy in plumbing? And I'm like, dude, you want me to use a favor on you? And I was like, hold on, And so I actually, I called Mark, and I talk about this in the intro of my book. I call Mark. He comes out and fixes it. He goes, I'm only coming out there because it's you. And the whole time he's out there, I'm sitting on the field with him, asking him about his wife, asking about his kids. And it doesn't take him but about 15 minutes. But the whole time I'm there talking to him and thanking him. And then I go to the baseball coach. I'm like, by the way, this is what size he wears. I highly recommend you get him a shirt. Tell him thank you. Do something for him. And then when I moved into administration, I kind of took that with me, that lesson about just making everybody feeling valued. And it started small as an assistant principal. And every year, like I handwrite notes and just do different little things like that. And every year it just kind of became more and more. And then when I became a building principal, my first day at the middle school, I sat down with the secretary and I said, what is my budget and how much can I spend on teachers? And before I knew anything else, that's what I wanted to know. And in Keller, you can buy them 1 meal in the fall and 1 meal in the spring. So 2 meals a year. And you couldn't even buy at that time a convocation shirt. So it's like, hi, welcome to Hillwood. Can I have your $10 for your convocation shirt, please? And so I really started working to get creative and to get people to donate things. Like convocation shirts were always provided by a community partner. But just the limitation of only 2 meals a year really forced me to get creative. And by getting creative, it started becoming a lot of fun. And the teachers were just even more appreciative of the things that we do. So it just kind of resonated with me as a coach, and it's just kind of gone with me as I've moved along.
Well, I love that so much. And I love what you kind of shared there about identifying that it's not just the teachers who need to feel appreciated. Obviously, we want our teachers to feel appreciated, but everybody plays a role in the success of that organization, that group, whatever it is. And so making sure that people just feel seen in those moments, and you're asking about their family and their friends and things like that. I love that you kind of shared that there at the beginning. And so, people are listening today and they're going, okay, Kathleen, I know how good it feels to feel appreciated. Like, I totally get that. But give me some ideas. I don't even know. I'm so brain tired from everything else I'm doing. What are some things that I could do just to start letting my people know that I really do appreciate them?
Well, right now, something that we did, or I did last night and we're working on today, is something I like to call appreciation time. So I sent a text out to my staff via Remind last night that said, send an email or a text message to somebody you have not talked to in 2 weeks and tell them what you appreciate about them. For currently where I'm at, it's homecoming week here at the high school. So if they do that, then their name goes, they get to pick a football square. And I'm giving away gift cards on the football thing. When I was middle school, before we had that, or if I was elementary, what I would do is I would say, if you send a text or email, you copy me on it or send me the screenshot, you get jeans tomorrow. And so that means when I would sit and look at how my email blew up that night when I would do that, and even last night, it's great. And teachers are getting these appreciation emails from somebody they haven't talked to in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And it's no skin off my back. I mean, I'm given a football square here, but at elementary, you get to wear jeans for a day.
Yeah.
And jeans are very powerful, but then you've got all these appreciation texts and emails going out on a Sunday night before you start a new week of school.
Well, what I love about that too is when we talk about this appreciation idea and culture building and things like that, it should not be solely the responsibility of the administrator. And that's what I love about that idea you just shared, is you're putting it in the hands of everybody, because all of us should be building each other up, because we are all trying to work for the success of those students and that campus. So I love that. Well, Kathleen, I know sometimes though, when we work with different people, we hear people that they're like, I don't have time. I don't have time to add this in there. I don't have time to do this. Like, they know I appreciate them. I hired them. What would you say to people who say that I don't have time to do all these things?
So I'm a very blunt person. So when you said that, my response was, do you have time to interview?
Uh-huh.
Because if you don't take care of them, then if you don't take the time to love on and appreciate your staff, then you're going to take the time to interview their replacement.
Yeah.
And at one way or the other, you're giving up the time. So how do you want to give up that time? Me personally, I'd rather love and appreciate on the staff that I have, especially if they're great teachers. You really want to do that because, one, they're your best recruiters for more staff. But two, oh my gosh, they will, there's not a teacher that didn't work for me at my middle school that I couldn't walk up to and say, I need you to go jump off that bridge right there. And they're going to go, okay, how much time do I have? Do I need to do it right now? Can I come back in 10 minutes? But the answer is going to be a yes. And we're starting to get that way with the culture here. When here at the high school, when I ask, a teacher to do something, they're like, okay. And just making them that appreciation component, making them feel valued and trusted, they're going to automatically give you 120% instead of 100%.
Yeah.
Without you even asking, because they're going to want to do it for you.
Yeah.
So why would you not take the time? Because it will have a direct impact on your culture, your morale, your student achievement. Because the teachers will try new things and be willing to do things if they feel like they're valued.
Well, I think too, when I think of some opportunities that I've tried to do to make others feel valued, and I know you've probably experienced this as well as people who are listening, is that how do you maintain your positivity when you do something to show appreciation for people, but it's not really received or reciprocated, or they'll say, oh, well, I don't really like that. That doesn't really make me, or whatever it is. How do you deal with that kind of being let down of, oh, I put all my energy into this and it just wasn't well received?
So a few years ago, I did what I called the Easter egg hunt, and spent weeks planning it. And this is when I was at the middle school. And all they had to have to participate was an actual Easter basket. So my big coaches and everybody had to have a basket, no Walmart sacks allowed. We did all this planning. We had joke eggs with like shaving cream, and we had some with gift cards. We had some with paper clips, some with chocolate, all of that. And we sent them out there, and they went running, and the teachers were talking about it for weeks, and it took them less than 5 minutes to hide all the eggs. And it was like, wah, wah. So it was very anticlimactic, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I took that idea because I knew I was onto something, and the teachers were so looking forward to it, and revamped it to where we hid eggs in the building. If they found them inside the egg, it would say how. You have to go down the main hallway of the building to the office, whether it's a bunny hop, ice skating, figure skating. And the reason it's the main hallway is because I have cameras on that hallway, and those videos would reappear at end of year videos. But then the idea was a good idea. You just got to tweak it. Thinking about when you're working with good teachers and a lesson doesn't go the way you want. If we're studying addition, we don't just say the heck with it, we're not going to teach addition because that plan didn't work. You revamp it, you come back, you tweak it, you reteach it. It's the same thing with the appreciation. A good idea is a good idea. You just got to tweak it until you get it where you need it to be, just like you would a lesson.
That is such good advice. And I love that that's so important to remember of just because it didn't work the way you anticipated or that you had planned doesn't mean it was a bad idea necessarily. It may just need some little tweaks here and there. So I love that you kind of shared that as well. And so, Kathleen, you also wrote a book. Tell us a little bit about your book.
Actually, I brought a copy, I think. Make sure I had a copy with me. I'm not good about
There you go.
So it is School Transformation Through Teacher Appreciation. It's available on Amazon. It's got about 131 different teacher appreciation ideas, but it's split into 3 parts. The first part is about the transformation, how to use appreciation actually transform your campus into a higher level learning campus. Part 2 is momentum. How do you keep that momentum going now that you're rolling? And part 3 is just plain ideas. Yeah. So if all you want are ideas, just skip the first 2 parts and go to part 3. So that's full of ideas. There's also on my webpage, it's KathleenEckert.com. I do a newsletter. I try to do once a month. I've been doing it for about 2 years now. And so there are newsletters out there with teacher appreciation ideas that are not in the book. So there's additional sources, and those are free. Yeah. I try to put stuff out there because, like, I did one last night talking about what I did with my student hour lunches, but how it morphed into a teacher appreciation idea with food trucks. And we did radio trivia over the PA the day before the food trucks to give teachers gift cards to the food trucks. So all that, it's ideas like that, because if you can make it free the best you can and put it out there to people, they're going to stop and read it and use it. So I just like to just throw ideas out there because, you know, this idea, like the Easter egg hunt, may be a good idea for some people, but then there may be some that's like, yeah, that's not my cup of tea. That's okay. There's a lot of ideas out there. Find what works for you and your personality and give it a go.
You know, and I think that's hugely important for people to hear, is that just because something worked well for someone doesn't mean it's necessarily going to match you and your personality. Mm-hmm. The best way that you can show appreciation is when it is a true reflection of who you are and how you feel. And so you've done a ton of ideas over the years. There's got to be one that like falls into your top 10 of favorites that you've done and that really made you feel good about making others feel good. Tell me about one of your favorites.
I would have to say, I'm going to reach in my drawer if you see me disappear. I would have to say my favorite is scratch offs. And yes. I got this idea from somebody, so I can't take credit for it. It was an elementary principal in Keller a few years ago that had shared the idea, and then I just took it to another level. So you make a little business card size, and this is our logo. And then under this sticker, you buy these stickers on Amazon. You can get 500 for like $20. And then you put this over it, and it makes it a scratch off. When teachers have perfect attendance every month, I hand these out at faculty meetings while we're doing stuff. If they somebody did something. What was it? Oh, they said if they sign up to work the homecoming dance, can they get a couple of scratch offs? Absolutely. A teacher's covered a class. Can I give them some scratch offs? Yes. So my APs have stacks of these. I have stacks, my sub coordinator. And then the prizes on here, the free prizes that cost you absolutely nothing. Jeans pass, sweats pass. I was a little weird on that at first, but they're not sweats like I wore back before the dinosaurs roamed the earth when I was a teacher. They're nice sweats nowadays. There's something that I started calling a jean balloon. If you get a balloon, your whole department gets jeans on the day you call it. And then there's a jean bubble. The high school right now, they love that jean bubble. There's been 2, and they just email the staff of 200 and say, I declare a jean day. And then they turn their bubble in. You could do duty coverage. You can do class coverage. On class coverage, I do tell them I need to know about a week in advance so that I can, change my schedule to cover the class.
Yeah.
There's a lot of free things that you can do there, but then there's also some that you could add in, like if you get $5 gift certificates to places, if you have money in the budget for that. Flare pens, elementary teachers love flare pens, and you can buy flare pens with your instructional money. So you could put flare pens on the scratch offs and just different things like that. And it's just, they're excited, one, because they don't know what they're going to win, but they get a prize.
Yeah.
And when you think that you don't put that much money into these other than making them, I mean, it's a win-win all the way around for you and for the teacher, because they get so excited when they get scratch offs. And it's really easy. If anybody wants to email me, my email's on my website. I can send you the template for it. I've done these for teachers, and when I was at the middle school, also had student ones, because you can get silver and gold. So the teachers would do it, like put them in lock boxes that the kids have to get into. Or I had a big vending machine. If they got a positive note from a teacher, they got to get the little plastic thing that would have it folded up inside out of the machine. And it might be like a cookie or ice cream. They take that to the cafeteria, and the cafeteria bills me because I could spend money on kids all day long. Some say candy or different things like that. Just things like that you can do, because it's really inexpensive.
I love that. And I mean, people love a good scratch off, especially when you know it's a winner every time.
Yes.
So I love that idea too. So that's such a fun thing. I wish I had done something like that when I was still at school, because I would have been totally into it. But I love the added idea of potentially using it with students as well. So there's so many different ways to take and run with that. So Kathleen, I know you also presented at our summer conference, and it was a huge hit, and you recorded your session for our members. So if you're listening today and you are a TEPSA member, go check out our social media. We've sent tons of links out about it. You can go to the TEPSA website, TEPSA.org, and under the learning tab, there's a little member only webinars, because we got those for free. And Kathleen was our first one for the month of September. So you can go get even more ideas and learn from her. But Kathleen, if they want to connect with you, is your website the best place to go to?
That is the best place. It's got everything on it. My email address, newsletters, information about me, pictures of me dressed as a dinosaur doing popcorn delivery. So
I love it. So go to KathleenEckert.com. Thank you so much, Kathleen, for being our guest today. And thank you, everybody, for listening or watching another TEPSA Talk podcast. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us at any time, and we'll see you again next week with an all-new guest.